Hello everyone, welcome back to Awesome Acknowledge. It has been a while, it is so awesome to be back. Today's guest is an incredibly renowned math teacher at James B. Conant High School who has been the WGN Teacher of the Month in January 2016, is an individual who does so much amazing work with Conant's Cougars Need program, runs the finance club at the school, has such an amazing website, and definitely many other awesome accolades I'm forgetting. And overall, just a teacher who every student has not only leads the class learning so much about math, but also about life. Please welcome Mr. Steve Kurfess. Thank you, Steve, for being on the show.
Hi, Joey. Thanks a lot.
For a little background, I had Steve as my teacher during junior year, and it was an awesome class, so much fun, so inspiring. And since then, myself and our friend Alex, whenever he's in town, we always try to grab breakfast or dinner at least once or twice a year, and it's always so awesome. And so awesome staying connected. On today's show, we're going to go a little in-depth on some of the topics mentioned above, as well as whatever tangents we find ourselves on.
There's a math term. Nice.
I had a Steve.
Yeah.
To get started, there's an aspect of your classes I find just so awesome, and those are the life lesson days. And a few times a year, we would go over just different life lessons in class dedicated about life and college, and those times are just so helpful. And when did you start incorporating those days into your classes, and why do you think it's important for students to hear those lessons?
I think almost from day one I started incorporating that life lessons into because I like teaching math, but I like teaching about applications of math, and I like teaching things that kids are always going to remember for the rest of their lives. You know, if I ask you to factor now, you might not even remember how to factor, okay? Most kids might not even remember that. But if I ask you, hey, do you remember about saving for retirement? Do you remember about giving to the, trying to help people out? Those are things that I want you to remember out of out of life. Because I always tell kids, when I make it to 100, my goal is 106 years old. But I want to make it to my old age. I want people to come back and say, you know what? As opposed to, I remember that the sine of 30 degrees is 1/2. I would rather somebody come back and say, I remember to start saving for retirement and to give to the poor and help other people out. So it's almost like from day one. But as time progressed, because I've been teaching for 23 years, as time progressed, almost every day I try to teach them something just a little bit about life, the life lessons. And then I try to take even a whole day, maybe before Thanksgiving or before Christmas or spring break, and talk to them about spend that whole time talking about life. And I think it's just a helpful thing. It's something that kids need to know when they get out of school. It's a life lesson that they'll remember for the rest of their lives.
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, I think those lessons about retirement and helping others, those have definitely stuck with me, and have definitely stuck with so many others. Those days were so helpful. So we all thank you for those especially.
Sure. It's my pleasure.
This is something that's also awesomely mentioned in the WGN video, which the link will be posted in the description below. Steve was WGN Teacher of the Month in January 2016, so well deserved.
Thank you.
And so how was filming with WGN? How did you find out about being selected?
Well, the principal actually came up, and she was standing by my door at the beginning of the class, and she goes, "Can I come in for a second? I have something to tell the students." And I had no idea. And she walked in, and she told me in front of all my students that I had become, I'd won the WGN Teacher of the Month, and I was flabbergasted. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was very humbled that my students would recommend me, and then I actually won that award. So I was very humbled and very honored. It was very nice.
Yeah, the video is awesome. We'll definitely post that link below. So well deserved.
Thank
you. Continuing the awesomeness, using that word a lot. There's a
Sorry, I like that word too.
It's such an awesome word. There's a really awesome event that Steve runs, and that is the Yox Trot. Started in 2009. The event is a walk around the surrounding neighborhoods near the high school, and the surrounding neighborhoods near Conant, and then an awesome breakfast at McDonald's after. Such an awesome event and cause. So what inspired you to start the walk, and how have you seen the event grow over the years?
Well, this is probably about 15 to 20 years ago. They used to have the District 211 Heart Walk, and the money they would all the schools from the entire district would get together, and they would usually Conant was the main site, and then we would walk through not the neighborhoods, but one of the nature centers in the area, and then the money would go towards the American Heart Association. And then they kind of switched up and said, well, you can pick whatever charity you want. So then they started doing Cougars Need, and we did that for a few years, and I always got an announcement, in my mailbox saying, hey, this is when it's going to be, and then all of a sudden I didn't get one. And so I went to the person in charge, I'm like, Well, I don't understand. Well, how come I didn't get the announcement? They said, you know what, it wasn't really that popular and we're not going to do it this year. And I thought, well, that's terrible because that was a lot of money that was raised towards Cougars Need. So I thought, I'm going to start something called the Yox Trot. And it was just a random thing. So anyway, it turned out to be just a really kind of a fun event. It's such a random event, but I usually have 30 to 40 kids walk every year now. And in fact, this past year we raised about almost $700 towards Cougars in Need. So
That's awesome.
yeah, and especially this time of year is it's usually towards the end of October, but then that money goes towards to help them in especially around December, Thanksgiving, December, when the need is there's more need than any time of the year. So just help the kids. So.
I'm so glad the event has kept going, and it was such an honor to be part of the event. The years I was in high
I know,
school,
that was great. I know, and they're all big. Those they're all online too. I took a picture every year of the event, so it's kind of fun.
That's so awesome. And kind of on the topic of the Cougars in Need program, definitely one of the most important things we can talk about. Another amazing organization at Conant. Can you go a little bit in depth about what the organization does, as well as how students that go to high school can help, or other community members?
So Cougars in Need was developed because you have charities for all the different organizations, but we wanted a charity just to help our kids out. And it's amazing the number of kids that are in need, and people don't know that. I talk to my students all the time. I said, you might be standing or sitting or hanging out with some friends that are in need, but people are proud. They don't want to necessarily say, I'm in need and I need help. And I tell the kids, it's okay if you need help. But I always tell the kids, if you need help, you get help now. But in the future, if you can give help, if you can give aid to somebody, then you want to go in and return that. It's just like paying it forward. And so it's really, it's helped out the kids recognize that there is a need at our school, and then also that if they make a small donation, whether it's time or money, food, clothing, gifts, it can help. It can help people out, because again, people have no idea that there is a need there, and plus, again, it's a life lesson. It helps them, kind of sets them up a little bit to, hey, maybe even though I'm not aware that people need help, maybe if actually donating to a charity can help out.
It's such an awesome organization, and I know you mentioned in the WGN teacher videos, really you get to kind of help the organization through that as well, which was so awesome. Now, something you mentioned earlier about your website, you always take the pictures of the Yox Trot, and there's some other awesome pictures on your website as well as different traveling images you have posted on there.
Yes.
And there's a really awesome set of images of the Northwest Territories in Canada as well as the Northern Lights. And are there what are some tips you might have for one wanting to see that region as well as just traveling in general?
Well, I love taking kind of exotic trips, and the exotic trip doesn't have to be like super expensive, because sometimes people think, well, you're going to spend a fortune to go to someplace. This is actually before I became a teacher. This is where I got the Northern Lights from. I worked for a consulting company, and we were stationed up in Canada. And my friend and I had a couple days off. We took some frequent flyer miles, and we flew up to Yellowknife, which is the Northwest Territories of Canada, and we saw the Northern Lights there. I mean, again, it's kind of a random trip. But I think sometimes doing the random trips as opposed to something completely organized is more fun that way. You're not, it's nice to have certain things organized, but if you can, like I said, we went up there and we looked out the window, we're like, I think the Northern Lights are going to happen tonight, and we put it on our parkas because it was well below zero up in the Northwest Territories of Canada it was beginning of January, and we just went up and we took some pictures and had some fun. So
how was seeing the Northern Lights in person?
It's amazing. It's like there's an alien swooping around you, like hundreds of miles an hour, just going around, lights all over. I mean, it's something that you might be able to see pictures of it, you might be able to see a video of it, but unless you're actually there, you can't even believe it's real. It's just amazing.
So before we end, I have a couple just quick questions that are kind of fun.
Sure.
Favorite McDonald's breakfast?
I have to go with the bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Oh, classic choice.
Yeah. I like a biscuit. It just tastes good, and I like everyone likes bacon. Well, not everybody, but I like bacon, and just got a good combination of everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Favorite Star Trek film?
The Wrath of Khan.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I like the Wrath of Khan. Yes.
Favorite Star Trek character?
Captain Kirk.
Oh, he's the best.
He's the best because he uses his phaser as opposed to let's do diplomatic negotiations. I like the phaser.
And so that was all the questions. Thank you so much, Steve, for being on the show.
My pleasure.
It was an honor. It was an honor having you on the show. Are there any kind of final words you have for the viewers?
You gotta enjoy life. One of my favorite people is my grandmother, who lived 105 years old, as you remember, and she enjoyed life all the way through 105 years old. And so I kind of take a tip from her that you might have some bad times in your life, but you kind of have to get past those. And once you enjoy the good times and be nice to people, smile. She always laughed, and I have a good time. Life has been pretty good to me, and I do have a good time. And just to put a plug in for you, I enjoyed having you in class. I mean, we had a great class. It was a really, really fun class, but I enjoy my teaching job. And today's Sunday, and I know sometimes people go, I got to go back to work on Monday. I'm excited to get back to work because I love my kids. I love being with my colleagues, and I love being with my kids.
Oh, well, hey, it was awesome having you as my teacher. It was such a fun class, and it was math is so awesome. I'm always going to math every day.
Awesome, great.
All right,
All right, thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. All right, take care.